Sunday makes 10 years that my husband and I have been married, a whole decade, and I wanted to do a little series of 10 things that I learned in 10 years of being married. The first thing that I learned, and it's something that not everybody might agree with or like, is that you are also the problem. And just hear me out. This is coming from a Christian perspective, as somebody who surrendered her life to Christ, and I was believing for my husband to do the same. He always believed in God, always came to church with me. It was never a fight, it was never nothing like that, but his devotion to God was different than what mine was. I was fully surrendered, and he wasn't. And so I was believing for him to fully give his life to Christ. And one of the scriptures I stood on was 1 Peter 3, 1 through 2, and I'm going to just read it real quick because it's so good. And it says, "In the same way, you wives must accept the authority of your husbands. Then even if some refuse to obey the good news, your godly lives will speak to them." Your what kind of life? Your godly life will speak to them without any words. Without any words. The life you live is more of a testimony, more of a testament, more of that will draw them in more than anything, any nagging that you could do. I'm going to just say it like that. They will be won over by your godly lives. That's so good. And then verse 2 says, by observing your pure and reverent lives. So in the beginning of my marriage, one of the things that I would do is constantly nag, constantly bug him. I was always looking at what he wasn't doing and not looking at what he was doing, not looking at myself, not evaluating my life, my heart, my character. It was always, what is Dustin not doing, or what is he doing that I don't want him to be doing? I constantly was so focused on that I was not putting the time and energy into Brooke. And I think we have to understand that my husband's on a walk with God, and I want to walk with God. And of course, when you're married, you're united, so you want to be going the same direction, but I can't be God for him. I'm not God for him. And a lot of times we're playing God for our husbands. We're trying to be God. We're trying to change and fix things and do things that only God can do. And so when I really saw the shift in my husband was whenever I started really just focusing on me and God. I started changing. I started working on me. I got in the Word, and I looked to see how I could be as a wife, how I should be as a wife. How could I love him better? How could I support him? How could I encourage him? What kind of wife was I supposed to be? And at first I wasn't doing that. I just was like, oh, I got it all together. I've surrendered my life to Christ. Like I'm ahead of the game. Like I was not truly evaluating me and seeing that, hey, like you actually have a lot to work on. And I did. And when I really started doing that, letting God change my character, letting him prune me, letting him make me into the woman, the mother, and the wife that he called me to be, that's when I started seeing a difference in my husband. And I will stand by that by me taking my hands off, by me saying, you got this, God, that is whenever I saw the shift in my husband. That is when God started opening doors and started moving things in position and started working on my husband. And now he is devoted. He is in love with God. He fears the Lord. He reverences him so much. And he is just full force, full-fledged for him. And it's all because I prayed and believed that God would do it. Not me, that God would. So if you're believing for someone or wanting someone to get to this place in life, just give it to God. Let him do it and focus on you.